Thank you very much. Thank you. So, again, for everybody, I'm very grateful for the opportunity to stand before you, to share examples that would provoke ideas, to share conversations that could encourage risk taking, to share a little bit of our journey. So, hopefully, it could inspire your own. My journey commenced actually in November 2015 in this current role. In HP's 80 years, the role has always resided in the US. I have not really seen a lot of mobility leaders emerge from Asia, much less be allowed to run a global program from here. So I took that pressure to sort of earn the privilege every day to not just carry on traditional ways of doing things and to keep chasing relevance. To borrow the words of Hamilton, I am not throwing away my shot. So let's start. So let me set some context on what is happening now and how they will affect the path forward. I believe that macro level trends will dictate what happens to our industry. Dynamics are changing, but talent mobility is still needed. The flow of people, trade, and capital have slowed, but the business environment remains globally connected. Workforce planning will be strategic. It will be compliance driven and global. And because of all of these, talent mobility continues to be critical to workforce strategy. The mindset of nationalism and protectionism has encouraged a bias towards self reliance. Focus on local talent to mitigate local unemployment rates. A review of free trade agreements and immigration protocols. We saw all of these prior to the pandemic, and it will be elevated afterwards. I believe trade and investments will still dictate where talent flows. Governments will never be able to entice investments from corporates by handicapping them on foreign talent that they can bring in to establish and grow business. Okay? So, this is the scale by which we have set for ourselves. This provides me broad awareness of the possibilities and where we want to play from 5 years ago. Awareness of this helped me figure out the kind of talent I require, the changing scope of what I outsource, and where we want to play, and how I engage and partner internally. It has been a fulfilling journey so far. However, the realizations from this year allow me to stretch the arena we had been playing within over the past 5 years. The possibilities of growing through this scale became more real as we started small and strung together a few success stories. There has been an undeniable role that technology plays in being able to accelerate through this journey. The emphasis is on acceleration. I do not want to ever infer that absence of top-notch technology is a showstopper. I will never accept, nor will I discourage you from reaching your aspirations. Our will is far stronger and they can augment whatever we lack in technology investments. I will share with you today how I make those investment decisions. But before that, let me talk about Okay, let me talk about our why and our winning aspirations. I believe that every journey starts with why. If we don't know why we're doing something, then we end up being blindly led by noise or trends, and strategy becomes more of a dream than an instrument for transformation. Whether it is a focus on revenue generating moves or an intent to change the conversation to investment on talent rather than cost, or how we engage with our talent as they fulfill their career aspirations via mobility, we knew we needed focus. This is personal for me. I know how mobility allowed my parents to settle in Manila, and I also know how a simple career move into Singapore allowed me access to roles I never could previously. Mobility changed my life for the better, and perhaps for my next generation. I've had more citizenship changes than employers. This experience has become part of what I want to provide. I want others to realize their aspirations as I have. We are not in the business of just moving people from A to B. Rather, we are moving people closer to their dreams. So now let me share with you a few principles that guided our journey. First, 3D, data to discovery, then decision making. Building business cases that allow us to apply where talent mobility is a competitive advantage versus alternatives across the HR pillars of attract, develop, retain, and motivate talent. Ask yourselves this. Do the people we move, do they perform better? Do they stay longer? Perhaps be promoted faster than those who have not been through any program? Are we getting better offer acceptance rate? Are we competing better for talent when we bring the collective power of a job offer from talent acquisition, perhaps an immigration strategy conversation with a candidate, or a move package altogether? Are the talents we have invested in, whether a one-way transfer or somebody who's recently repatriated, are they more vulnerable to be poached away from us? What can we do about it? Are we able to fill revenue generating roles faster than hiring local or moving an experienced internal talent across borders? We have built these business cases and now we are on a campaign internally where we tell managers and HR that an investment in mobility can actually save money and eventually save jobs. Or perhaps we could mitigate the risks or resolve weaknesses we have seen coming from the lockdown in terms of our global footprint. Our role as mobility leaders require us to be good storytellers as well, putting together narratives, bringing the why of mobility to life. The credibility of these stories become more relatable when we have good command over the principles of 3D: data, discovery, then decisions. Second aspect for us is all about targeted investments in technology. Those are my build, buy, borrow, or bury. Uh, so from the onset, I knew from the onset that we would not be the program that gives you a Disneyland experience. You remember how happy you were the day you were in their theme park. I believe in one that is about fulfilling aspirations for the employee, bringing them closer to their dreams, which is more about better tomorrows than yesterdays. This awareness makes it easier for us to know where we just need to borrow what can be made available by an RMC or immigration provider, what we are able to live without, what we can bury. Counting faster or better visualization of the same data sets do not represent value. Building capabilities for HR and managers to make good mobility decisions changes the game. Technology that translates into capability to make investment decisions based on time to onboard, cost to hire, or quality of talent between talent channels, or across mobility travel patterns. All of these fulfill our aspirations for the business. We have also started to understand our dependence on foreign talent for specific business groups or specific job families so we can understand where we need to build local talent pipeline, where we need to invest in immigration, and where we need to place our advocacy dollars. Visualization of these vulnerabilities, whether it is about Brexit or stranded talent, that discovery powered by technology is more important to us for us to be able to buy or build ourselves. The next part is, again, I believe engagement is where the war for talent will be won. The era where we focused on satisfaction is behind us. Employee experience was the fad prior to the pandemic as we competed for talent. Engagement will be far more endearing, and what I believe people will value more as we exit 2020. It will be human centric and it will be persona based. A new style of engagement where we have demanded to bring back one on ones, where the conversation goes beyond logistics and transactions and coordination, where we go into a conversation to one that is about your path to citizenship or setting up roots after we move you to being a homeowner. We have also put in place an analytics based content subscription approach to engagement where we push a small catalog of original explainer videos and curated content based on what will be relevant for the manager or employee. Imagine this. A hiring manager will receive an alert from us once we notice a requisition tagged to a headhunter, or perhaps a requisition that was placed in a location for a role that took us over 90, 120 days to fill in the last 12 months. Or it could be content delivered maybe 4 months prior to an end of assignment that talks about the role of the manager to mitigate our exposure to attrition, or some tips on making simple adjustments to travel patterns that could save cost if there's potentials for extension needed. Imagine this scenario as well. An employee that receives content that raises the appreciation of conversations they need to have with their manager about their goals, a conversation they need to have with their family, or how this one way transfer that they have been through after X months is an investment in their career, along with tips or maybe testimonials from those before him. This is the new style of engagement. It will be human centric, it will be digital, and persona based in approach. So, again, here are my reflections after 5 years in the role. Three things. Number one, in your role, make an impact, build a legacy, and be a force for good along the way. Harnessing my insecurity, my need to prove myself every day productively. You don't build a legacy by carrying on someone else's. Blaze your trail, role model a culture that encourages others. Give back. We are in a role that allows us to do that. I've put in place in my supply chain, Move for Hunger, supported small businesses, women led, women owned companies. Doing good is part of the prescription in this role. In your journey, figure out your why and play to win. Have you figured out what's the why of mobility for your company? What's your own why? Make it personal so you don't run out of motivation. Play to win. Where will you play today? Where will you not? Where will you play now versus later? And then lastly, this for me most important in my journey going through talent acquisition and jumping into this global gig 5 years ago, you are not alone. Engage with our community to seek inspiration, and along the way, offer inspiration to your team and others with your success stories. Coming to conferences like this, engaging within our community nourishes my spirit to stay sharp and be better. Ideas and inspiration are the currency you operate with. In my own journey, I know I'm earning a lot based on the inspiration I get from so many mobility leaders. You earn when you invest in those relationships, and you become better because of that. Investing time with a community of providers and extended partners allow me to harness and benefit from the experience and the expertise of others. Again, thank you for the privilege of your time. More power to Global Mobility Executive, to our hosts, Alex, Sean, Shoban, as they bring our community together, harness the generosity of our spirit as we offer inspiration to each other. I wish you a productive and inspiring day ahead. Thank you.